Think you've heard every Rolling Stones album? Well, there's a hidden classic hidden in plain sight. No, I'm not talking about obscure albums like Undercover or 12 by 5 or anything like that. This is a little bit out of the box. No, I'm actually talking about the bonus songs they put on disc 2 of the Some Girls Deluxe Edition. A lot of the songs on this disc are vintage outtakes from that period, but a lot of the songs at the time were not finished. Had backing tracks done, but no lyrics, no vocals. So Mick and the band added a lot of vocals to these old outtakes. Now, we know that the Stones have done this on a few other albums. Eggs on Main Street, Goat's Head Soup, Tattoo You. All those albums had their own bonus discs of unfinished tracks. But for me, these tracks from the Some Girls sessions really hang together the best. So in a way, this bonus disc is kind of like a brand new Stones album that came out of nowhere. The result is an absolute killer collection of songs. You've got tracks like Claudine and Do You Think I Really Care, No Spare Parts, We Had It All, You Win Again, I Love You Too Much. I mean, this is really some killer stuff. And that's why I think this set works so well. It feels like a missing Stones album from the 70s. Now, I know there is some controversy over these bonus songs because some people may not be happy with Mick adding modern overdubs on these vintage studio outtakes almost 40 years later. I get it. I feel that the outtakes here that are truly pure vintage outtakes with no new overdubs are really, the most special to listen to because it is a snapshot of what they were working on then, perfectly preserved in that studio track. And to have these songs that are manipulated, that have these, old instrumental backing tracks with a 2011 Mick Jagger singing on top of it, it just kind of, this is so a Stones nerd thing to be upset about. But for me, it kind of ruins the integrity of the outtake because you do want to hear the track as it was presented historically. And obviously the problem was a lot of these tracks just did not have any final vocals on them at all. So were we going to see a bonus edition of Some Girls with a lot of instrumentals? I really don't think Mick would ever go for that. Obviously he didn't, and he'll never do that, which is why he made the decision to get these tracks, save them, and just finish them with some new vocals. Hey, it's just like an it is what it is situation. And if it means us getting some new songs, so be it. But trust me, I get the hesitation on these tracks. Take, for example, the song No Spare Parts. Even after listening to this version that's on this edition with the new vocals, finished lyrics, I still prefer the old bootleg version of the studio outtake that had been floating around for years. And if you listen to that old studio outtake of that song, you can hear that Mick is mumbling through the song. He does not have all of the lyrics. He has a sketch of what he's got to work with. He's got the chorus, but it's a lot of mumbled and jumbled lyrics just to fill the space that he was going to finish later. And he eventually did 40 years later. But nevertheless, I still prefer that old mumbly performance because it sounded way more natural and loose. And it was, for me, charming as hell, even though it made no sense. There was no song there. And, I get it. That's just a me thing. So to have the new version where Mick finally added some great new lyrics, as nice as they are, I still preferred the old version. So your mileage may vary on how you consume these outtakes, but for the most part, the modern overdubs work very well. And one of those moments is the song Do You Think I Really Care, which is an absolute classic. It was criminal that they never released this, and I'm glad it's finally out there, but I'm saddened that most people won't be able to find it because you'll have to go find it on this deluxe edition. This is another example of a vintage outtake that had the backing instrumental all set, but all it needed was some vocals and some lyrics, which Mick finally finished in 2011. And this is an instance where it works beautifully. It really is amazing to think that here was a 70-something Mick Jagger going back to a almost 40-year-old track and laying down a vocal that is amazingly close to what it would have sounded like back in 1977 when they recorded this track for the Some Girls album. It's probably one of my favorite Mick Jagger vocal performances of all time. It's so fun to listen to. You listen to it and you go, oh, the guy still fucking got it. It's still there. That Mick Jagger we've always known, that he's obviously, quoting the Mick Jagger of the 70s in this performance, because he's bending and twisting those vocals and those vowels with that beautiful country twang. And the outro on this song is just so much fun. I burst out laughing every time I listen to it because it's just so magical. But that's an example of like, hey, we would not have gotten that track had it not been for this bonus disc. And the other star on this track is Ronnie Wood, putting down some beautiful country licks, both on the Fender Strat and also on pedal steel. Also a great piano solo by Ian Stewart on this track. For me, that's the runaway track from this bonus disc. So if there's anything you get out of this video, is please go listen to that track. And songs like I Love You Too Much, which another one that sounds like a classic. But this song has an extra something where you go, damn, what a gem this was. And again, was lost in the mix. And I'm glad they saved this one as well. You could really look at this bonus disc as a sort of Tattoo You execution here, because like Tattoo You, Mick and producer Chris Kimsey went back into their vaults and unearthed all these unfinished tracks that Mick later finished, and that's what Tattoo You eventually became. And that's what sort of this disc too is on the Some Girls Edition and all these other ones they've done on other albums. And the difference is it's, a longer, bigger gap between, when these songs were first recorded and when Mick finally finished them. So that's it. If you haven't yet checked out the Some Girls Deluxe Edition, do yourself a favor and check it out. It may just feel like you're discovering a lost Stones album. So, is the Some Girls Deluxe Edition your favorite of all the deluxe editions they've put out with these bonus discs? Put it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Hang Fire.